What is something you enjoyed as a kid, but hate as an adult? Receiving a letter. Now it's just bills/taxes/trash. Receiving mail as a child was exciting. On the contrary, today I spent an hour going through a stack of mail that I'll let pile up and shredding about 98% of it. Jumping down 3 to 4 steps at a time. My knees won't put up with that nonsense now. Holy chiz, I used to jump entire flights of stairs for chizzes and giggles in high school. Thinking about the future. When I was a kid I imagined in the future I'd be rich and do crazy science stuff like turning the sky green. I thought I'd have a cool job and sports cars and a mansion in Beverly Hills. Thanks Weezer. Now when I think about the future, I wonder what the hell to do if I lose my job, about my parents getting old, and to a lesser degree, will I have enough saved to live off in retirement? There's a quote by Marina Keegan that just breaks my heart. I miss dreaming forwards. Anna said, "What? I dream backwards now. You won't believe how backwards you'll dream someday." Never understood what she meant when I was a kid. Now that I understand, I wish I didn't. Getting older. I'm getting too old for this chiz. Staying up all night. As a kid, it was a badge of honor staying up all night long. Going to bed after the sunrise now means that I've worked too much. Sleeping really late as well. As an adult, sleeping late makes me feel like I've wasted a whole day off. Having no job. I still like having no job. What I don't like is having no money. Going to the mall. I used to like browsing stores, but now I just want to get what I need and go. Part of it is the mall's fault for me. When I was younger the mall was a bit more varied. You had your toy store, your games store, your arcade, Sharper Image, Discovery store, candy store, etc. Now I go to the mall, and it's the food court and endless apparel stores. All the more interesting stores have been pushed out of business. Spinning in a circle until I'm so dizzy I fall down. Super fun as a child. Great way to feel terrible and possibly get a concussion now. Plus swing sets, for me. Christmas. As a kid it was time off school, presents, and seeing my family. As an adult I'm lucky if I get both days off. I stress about finding the right gift for everyone, and I have to see my family. My family will draw names after Thanksgiving dinner, so you only have to buy a gift for one person. Moving house. I loved packing, choosing a new room, exploring a new neighborhood. I'd moved 20 times by the time I turned 18. I'm moving out of my first flat now, and it is the worst. Mum never warned me about the billion calls and contracts and credit scores and references and moving companies and just the general stress of moving out. I hate it. It's the worst. 20 times. Why? Being outside when it's cold. When I was little, I could play outside in the snow for hours and not even be the faintest bit of cold. Now I can't even stand being outside during winter for a few minutes. Young children have a high percent of brown fat which burns hyper quickly, allowing the body to warm itself extremely efficiently in response to cold, more similar to wild animals. Adults have very little brown fat. Homo sapien adults are geared for low amounts of slow burning yellow fat for sustained energy. This gives babies, who would otherwise be very vulnerable in the winter, a tremendous survival leg up. Vienna sausages. My brother and I used to wrestle and fight over who would get the last can. Hadn't had them in ages and was telling my kid about them, so I thought I'd get a can for old time's sake. Could not even choke them down. They are so gross to me now. Are you me? I used to love them, boasted them to my kid, and bought a can. Oh. Even my son didn't like them, and he'll eat anything. Gave them to my dog and no lie, she threw them up. Lol, I feel like sadness. I touched a core happy memory and ducked it up. Certain 80s sitcoms. Tried watching the original Full House again and just couldn't get past 10 minutes of it. Cheers still works for me. It's my go-to to fall asleep at night. Talking about politics. It used to make me feel smart and grown up. Now I just get angry and exhausted. Duck yes. It is almost always a cheers fest, and you just can't make a sensible conclusion. There is a reason that people are not in one political boat after all. My birthday. It's not that I hate it, it's just that I don't care about it anymore. Same. I also don't care about getting presents. I only do something for myself because my kids get mortified at the thought of me not doing something. Staying home on a sick day. As a kid it was a huge victory. Got to stay in bed all day, watch TV, and having a parent tend to your every need. Then as an adult you're just thinking about the work you're gonna have to make up for, and how you hope you don't need to go to a doctor. I feel your pain in a different way. I'm a waiter, so a sick day won't result in more work when I get back, but I only get paid for the hours I work. A sick day is a dent in my income. Most of the movies I liked when I was a kid don't hold up as an adult. I've stopped revisiting them so I don't spoil the good memories. Blank Check just made me angry as an adult. That kid was an entitled prick. Lunchables. I always told my parents to get me some after seeing the commercials. Looking at it now, who TF actually thinks this is a decent lunch? It's an overpriced box of cheese and crackers and a Capri Sun. Charcuterie board's the good adult version of a Lunchable. Ravioli in a can. Don't get me wrong, I love ravioli, just not canned. Frozen isn't too hard to make, it's much better. Going outside during the summer. Duck the heat, duck bugs, duck humidity, duck bugs, duck hotter wind, duck bugs, duck direct skin burning sunlight with hotter wind, and duck bugs. I never understood why people got so frustrated with insects that they put poison in their yard. Until I bought a house. It's 100 ducking degrees out there with 50% humidity or greater. Everything wants to bite me for some damn reason. If I spend more than a few hours out in the yard, I'm covered in bug bites. Some that itch for days. Mowing is ducking awful thanks to the bugs. Half the time, I don't even know what bit me. Don't forget to turn off the lights before opening your outside doors at night. That way a billion nuts with 6 legs and wings don't fly in and ruin your whole week. Mosquitoes can literally duck off, and I think everyone and every animal would be happier. In fact, I think mosquitoes are one of the #1 reason why there isn't peace in the world. Everyone is so pissed off at mosquitoes, they're lashing out at others. Roller coasters. While I never liked the big ones, I like the small ones okay. But being almost 40 and riding them makes me feel like I might die afterwards. Around age 30, they suddenly made me nauseous. I enjoy them, but feeling pukey for the rest of the day isn't worth it. Sadly, the holiday season. I now see why my parents seemed exasperated when I complained when decorations weren't up post Thanksgiving, or why they seemed so much more stressed than I ever even considered being. School would end, I would get to chill, and it was the holidays, and was so magical. Now I get it. With a job that doesn't stop for the holidays, it sneaks up on you, and you barely get time as an adult to process all the activities before it's like December 23rd and it's all flown by. I can never seem to find time to do my Christmas shopping or decorating. The holidays completely stress me out now, and as a kid I thought it was the best time of the year. I stopped doing presents for anyone other than my partner, and we mostly do experience gifts now instead of physical gifts. It's way better this way. Running. I used to race my brother everywhere, just for fun. Now, I'm definitely not running for that bus I could easily catch. I'd rather sit around and wait 120 minutes for the next one. I'm the opposite. I was the chubby kid at school so hated running, it'd always finish last. As a cliche fat kid I grew up to eat healthy and exercise regularly, running being one of my go-to faves. I'm mid-30s now, and whilst I'm no model, I'm lean and healthy. My dad edit. Thanks for the gold. 14-year-old me, my parents are awesome. Life is easy. 25-year-old me, my parents have immeasurably harmed my ability to function as an adult. Finding bugs in my house. The outside wall of my childhood bedroom had a Boston ivy growing over it, beautiful in certain seasons. One thing I particularly loved about it was how it would often grow up through the floor and the inside behind my dresser. Now when I think about if that happened to my own house, I feel sick. Swimming. I hate it now. Kids splashing you in the face and asking you throw them in the water and climbing on you like a jungle gym. It's way more fun to be the kid in the pool than the parent. My kids are now old enough I can sit on the side and watch. It is great. Making out with 14-year-olds. Yes, this post officer. The idea of being an adult lol. I'm just on the verge of adulthood, and I'm in a constant mode of oh no. This post just reminds me of this quote from The Office: I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days before you actually left them. Andy. Or Billy Joel, the good old days weren't always good, and tomorrow's not as bad as it seems. Getting sweaty in public. I didn't give a chiz when I was a kid. Now it annoys the hell out of me. I'm basically a super sweater. It grosses me out to think that I didn't know how damn much I sweat until like late high school. I doubt I was less sweaty when I was younger. I just didn't care. Travel. As a kid it was all vacation. As an adult it's almost all work. Weird. I find self-directed travel to be incredibly relaxing and carefree. Are you managing a large traveling family or something? I enjoyed life as a kid. Not a worry in the world. Now as an adult the stresses of life have me stressed. Getting out of the house. What a time to be alive right now, eh? Exercise just by playing. I'd skip, pogo, cycle, run around the park, scooter, everything. I just twitched my ankle on the sofa and had a shockwave of pain through my knee like the bones had ground together. I got up to pee last night and my leg just gave way. I miss the energy of childhood. I miss the resilience of childhood. Tripping on the playground, falling off the bike, just bounce off, dust yourself off, and keep going. Now I'm likely to break something and miss work. Living. It was overrated from the start. Yoo-hoo, I drank it all the time, but I couldn't imagine having a glass of that right now. I still enjoy it. I'm not sure what that says about me. I think just about every cereal and snack food I loved as a kid would taste excessively sugary to me now. Either they toned down Fruit Loops and Apple Jacks, or I'm still on my 8-year-old level of sugar intake. Still tasty. Snow. Yeah, since I've become an adult I require something stronger like meth. Time. I'm 19 now, and I remember how fast time seems to go by compared to when I was 11 or 12. I can't imagine how it's gonna be when I'll 30 or 40. I'm genuinely scared. Every day. If it helps, the more stimulation you give yourself, the slower time appears. Keep making new experiences and time won't move as fast. That's why being a kid made time slow. Everything was new. Edit. Paying attention to details in your environment supposedly helps as well. If you need the source, say so and I shall provide. Having only $20. Having $20 felt like a king. With the 20, I saw a movie, bought a pizza, then rented a video game with money left over. Simply at times. Shopping. It's not as fun when it's your hard-earned money being spent on stuff you know you don't need. The weird thing is, sometimes I find myself with a bit of extra cash and think cool, time for some retail therapy, but I can't think of anything I want or need. I have pretty limited free time. I've got a couple of guitars and a PlayStation 4. I don't dress fancy, and I'm not into tricking out my house with gadgets. I just end up stashing the spare money in the bank. Kid me would have kicked me for such a dumber move. Adults online who were really into me, especially the ones who sent pics in speedos. I'm not an adult, but I could be on the swings for hours. When I was younger, now I can barely be there 30 seconds. Do they make adult-sized swings so that the legs don't reach the ground? Driving. I long for the days when I never had to drive anywhere. Spaghetti OS. Shudder. Edit. Added link for non-US redditors. Tin can flavored pasta. Socializing. I used to love parties. Now they make me feel exhausted and bored. Honestly, I've grown to hate gaming. I've been a gamer all my life and own every major console since the Northeasts. If you'd have told me a decade ago that I would have a period of 3 months plus out of work, I'd have told you I'd spend that time gaming. However, I just haven't. I've come to realize that any love I had for it has been killed off by games as a service or games designed simply to promote an in-game store. Anyone in their mid-late 20s onwards will remember a time where classic games were coming out year after year and each console delivered masterpieces of all genres. Then publishers and developers like EA, Ubisoft, Rockstar, Activision etc. realized there was billions to be made repackaging the same old game or extending the lifespan of one game far beyond its means. I'm tired of it. I'm so fed up waiting 4 years between truly unique, creative, generation-defining games. Sony and Nintendo kept my interest these last 7 years, but I saw series after series die out to greed and be replaced by loot box-driven disasters and free games with expensive skins. I started to wane and realized I no longer played games because I enjoyed them, but because I had done so for as long as could remember. I was almost duty bound to. What little interest I had in PS5 died the second I saw GTA 5 announced. That was it. I realized at that point that I now hated what gaming had become. I unplugged my systems and put them in the loft. I'll give it a few months and pull out my retro consoles and see if my hatred is long term. There are still great games out there. I admit it feels like they are getting few and far between. When I read your post my immediate thought was to suggest you pull out your Northeasts and play some Blackthorn or 1942. That said, have you tried Subnautica? Great game, highly recommend it. I myself recently demothballed my GamerCube PS2 and N64. Good times, it all still seems to work. Pop music. Still not sure whether it was better back then, 80s, or I just associate 80s pop with happy memories, and current pop with the dumpster fire the world is now. It's mostly just that you aren't remember all the garbage. The good stuff hangs around in our memories and we forget all the trash that used to be out there. There's always a ton of bad music and a little bit of really good music. Aging. Getting hair in new places. And my balls dropping. I also hate your balls dropping. Being tickled. As a kid I would beg people to tickle me. Now, if you tickle me, you may get punched, unintentionally. Close bracket. I hate the loss of control when you're tickled. Being around people in social settings. Chuck E. Cheese. Duck that mouse and his mini Vegas casino of BS. Pizza sucks too. Welcome to Chuck E. Cheese. Everything is visibly dirty and our mascot is a rat. Have some pizza next to a sneezing child. Playing with Barbie dolls. I stopped around the time I was 10, moved on to virtual dolls like The Sims. When I was around 21, I tried to reconnect with my childhood and picked up a few Barbie dolls to play with. Felt extremely awkward so I stopped. Lol. Try playing with Legos. Fear still fun as an adult. Making messes. Ketchup. Marshmallows. Cotton candy. Bletch. I can relate to marshmallows. Cotton candy is still dope, though. I even ordered my own cotton candy machine last year. It's awesome, but terribly sticky. Getting up early. Birthdays. Being alive. Like seriously, as a kid the world was an amazing place full of adventure and new things and endless possibilities. Now I feel like I'm just waiting to die. Nothing about life is appealing anymore. Especially in 2020. Edit. Thank you /biohackder for the hug. Hugs to you as well. And thank you /boina23 for the energy award. Hope you're well. Tyson chicken nuggets. Edit. Yo, how the duck, my most upvotes came from chicken nuggets. THX. Vineta. I loved it as a kid. Now, I hate it. Because it's unobtainable in my area of the United States. Daddy needs another hit. Life. Being awake. I never wanted to sleep as a kid. Now all I want to do is sleep. Playing video games with strangers online. People are so angry, and they are constantly screaming and getting sad because they lost. These are grown men throwing temper tantrums. It makes me feel embarrassed to be playing with them. I almost never play any PvP games anymore. I will pick up Halo every once in a while, but no mic, and if I hear anyone they get muted. If I play something online it's something co-op with actual friends. I play now to relax. I don't need that chiz anymore. I enjoyed SpongeBob as a character and hated Squidward as a kid and would always wonder why Squidward didn't try being friends with him. I'm not exactly an adult. I'm 16, however I have grown to like Squidward and dislike SpongeBob and have understood Squidward's pain. Everyone starts out as SpongeBob but eventually turn into Squidward and at some point become Mr. Krabs. Interacting with other people. As a kid and a teenager I was a social butterfly. Always wanted to meet new people and make friends. I'm now 37 and it seems that I'm no longer fit for human interaction. Sunny Delight. You must be a real adult calling it Sunny Delight and not Sunny D. Responsibility. When I was a kid/teen all I wanted was to in charge of things, to have a paper route, my own alarm clock, to do things all by myself. Now I just want someone else to take over for, like, a week. Just give me a week off from responsibilities please. A week where I don't have to wake up at a certain time, pay a bill, reply to an email, worry about something, talk to others like a functioning adult. Even on vacation, I'm always in charge still. I call them candy cereals, Lucky Charms, Sugar Smacks, etc. Give me some Raisin Bran. Raisin Bran was always good. Yes, I may have added a bit of extra sugar as a kid, but I still enjoyed it for what it was. Freeze Pops, the ones that are liquid syrup in a plastic tube. When I was a kid my parents refused to get them, so I could have them while at a friend's house. Fast forward to around when I was 21, me and my GF moved into her old house, and I found a huge box full of them. I thought I hit the jackpot, but I tried one, and it was disgusting. I had one a few years ago, when I was like 29 or so. I still like it. I don't like normal popsicles though. The thought of getting older. Playing ponies with my 4-year-old. My 8-year-old self would be in heaven. My 38-year-old self trying to gallop around a field is a lesson in suffering. Please go away COVID-19, my child needs friends. As a small child, I used to love mushrooms and despise onions. Now it's the other way around. I cannot eat mushrooms. Too squishy for me, but good taste, at least. Buffets. As a kid it was amazing being able to get as much of, and whatever I wanted. Now I can't eat as much, and I'm very aware of how sad they are. Being clever. Because I peaked at age 8, and then got more and more mediocre. Getting into a smart school is great until you go, and suddenly you're not as big a fish as you thought. I can't look at books or study anymore without feeling a bit sick. Star Wars. Query. Do you mean you hate the movies you once loved, or you hate what it's become? My mom breastfeeding me. Your mom breastfeeding me has only gotten better over time. Anal sex. My god. I haven't been ducked like that since grade school. Pools. I hate the before going into the pool and getting out of the pool fiasco. To be honest though, I always hated it, but as an adult, the value isn't there for a fair trade-off. Oh my, you watched until the end? That's fucking awesome dude. Thanks for watching.